Hi everyone, welcome back to Coding Problem Solving series, and today we will be discussing Leetcode question 283, which is very famous by the name MOVE ZEROES. Now let's have a quick look at the question. So the question says that we have been given an integer array nums where we have to move all the zeros to the end of that array while maintaining the relative order of the elements. Please note that we have to do this algorithm in place without making any copy of the array. Right, so now let's understand the question in simpler words with the help of some examples. So as you can see on the screen with example 1, we have been given an integer array nums with 5 elements, and in the output we have moved all the zeros to the right of that array. Please note that moving zeros to the right is also equivalent to moving non-zero elements towards the left. Now we will solve this problem using a two-pointer approach, wherein we will have 2 pointers I and j both initialized to the start of the array, that is 0, and I will be used to store the suitable location for the next non-zero element, and j will be used to traverse the array using the for loop. Now inside the for loop, in each iteration, we will compare the element at the jth location, that is nums j, and check if we have found a non-zero element. And if it is not equal to 0, then we will shift it to the left, that is move it to nums I. Also in this case, we will increment I so that it now points to the next available slot for the next non-zero element found in the for loop. Now after we complete this for loop, we will be able to move all the non-zero elements to the left, and towards the end of the program, we will convert the remaining elements to 0 to get the desired output. Now let's quickly dry run the solution using this approach for better understanding. Now for dry running the code, let's take an input array of 5 elements, and we will initialize 2 pointers I and j to 0, that is the first element of the array. Now inside each iteration of the for loop, we will check the nums j element, and if it is a non-zero element, then we will move it to nums I. Also, we will increment the ith pointer so that it now points to the next available slot. Now let's start dry running. So initially, we can see the element at jth pointer is 0. So we simply increment j as per the for loop. Now we have found a non-zero element, and as per our algorithm, we will move it to nums I. So the array becomes something like this. So our I reaches index 1 and j reaches index 2. Now again, since nums j is 0, so j is incremented. Now the nums j becomes 3, that is a non-zero element, and again we have to move it to the ith index. So our array now looks like this, with j on the 4th index and I on the 2nd index. Now again, since num j is non-zero, so we shift it to the ith element, and the array looks like this, where all the non-zero elements have been successfully shifted towards the left, and since j has breached the value of the length of the array, so we will come out of the for loop with I still on the 3rd index of the array. Now we will convert all the remaining elements to 0 so that we reach to the final output, which looks something like this. Now let's code the solution. So here is our solution method move zeros, which takes an argument nums of type integer array and returns void. So let's start the solution. At first, we will initialize a pointer I to 0, which is actually the suitable location for next non-zero element. Now let's initialize the for loop using the variable j and run this for loop till we reach the end of the array. Now inside the for loop, we will compare each element nums j, and if it is a non-zero element, then we will shift it to the left, that is, move it to nums I. Also, we will increment the pointer I so that it now points to the next available slot for the next non-zero element. Now after successfully traversing this for loop, we will be able to shift all the non-zero elements towards the left of the array. Now at the end of the program, we will convert all the remaining elements to 0 using our initial pointer I, which is now pointing somewhere in the middle. Great. So now let's try running our initial test case. It is accepted. Let's try submitting the solution. Great. So now let's see the time and space complexity parameters of our solution. Since we are traversing the array only once using this for loop, so the time complexity of this solution comes out to be of order n, where n is the number of elements in the array. And since we are not using any extra data structure or we are not making any copy of the input array, so the space complexity comes out to be of order 1. Now with this, we come to the end of this video. Please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel for more informational content. Thank you and see you next time.